You spent 3 hours writing a post, you got 47 likes and probably 0 DMs. Meanwhile, your competitor posted something similar last week, got 8,000 impressions, and you can't stop seeing it in your feed. I woke up yesterday morning to 53 new conversations in my inbox. And I didn't write a single post. I didn't pay for ads. I collected every single one of those leads from a competitor's viral tweet while I was asleep. And before you think this is some of gray hat nonsense or something like that, it's completely above board. The people messaging me back have no idea that I didn't write the original post. They just know I showed up in their DMs with something relevant. And now we're talking. In fact, Jacob's about to show you exactly how we did it, the system we used to make the first message feel personal, and why this works better than anything else you're doing right now to find leads on social. And just for context, before Jacob screen shares and walks you through all of this, here's what actually happened. I was scrolling X, what used to be Twitter, and I saw a post from someone in my space blowing up. The concept was very identical to something that I'd been planning to talk about, make a video about, and my first reaction was the same as yours would be, damn, they beat me to it. But then I had a different thought. Everyone commenting on that post, they just raised their hand. They're interested in the exact problem that I solve. They're engaged enough to type a response. They're already in my market, and they're right there, already assembled in one place by someone else who did all the work. So instead of getting annoyed or scrambling to create my own version, I did something that took about 90 seconds. I grabbed the link to that post, I dropped it into a tool called Lead Miner inside of FlowChat, and I walked away. I literally forgot about it. The next morning, I opened my CRM, and there they were. Commenters, likers, all of them collected and sorted right into my pipeline, ready for me to message. But that's before I did any outreach. No pitching, just the names and the profiles of the people who had already demonstrated interest in the thing that we sell. That's not growth hacking, that's just smart. You're not creating demand, you're finding where it already exists and someone else already lit the fire. Look, we're about to hand you something that most people think requires a VA, a Zap subscription, about 4 hours of setup time. No, Jacob and I are going to show you how to do this in under 5 minutes. And in a couple of clicks, you'll be off to the races too.
So for today, with X, we are gonna go into one post and grab all the comments that are coming in. Usually there's going to be posts that pop up with quite a few comments. So if you want to see the comments, how many they have, you can just look over here and this will give you the number. And the comments are going to be the first one. Then what I can do is click on the post. And once you click on it, you're going to grab, it's going to be a different URL than just looking at the home page. This post actually has 4,000 comments. It would take me a while to take all of those, and maybe I just need 50 comments a day, 50 leads a day on a consistent basis. So at that point, we can set up the lead miner. So I would grab this URL, we're going to copy it for later, and then we're going to go into FlowChat. You'll need to be logged into FlowChat. We'll need to have our extension on and installed, and then we're going to go into the queue on the left bar where all the other automated imports, lead miner sections live. And then with X, we're going to go into our X profile, and then we're going to go into the automated import section. So now in order to add an automation, we're simply going to click the add automated import button. We would click that, and then we have our options on the platform of what we can automatically import. So we're gonna go for comments here today, but as you see, we can do hashtag searches and followers. So for today, we'll click comments, and then our menu pops open to set the lead miner up. Now we can do it on a weekly, hourly, daily basis, and then we can set the time that we want this to go off of. And then we can name our import. So this is internal, only you see that. So we can say introducing Cloud Fable 5 is the internal post. And then we have our URL. So in case we need to grab it again, we can just come back and grab that. You can Control C, or you can right click and copy. And then we would right click and paste or Control V. And then we can put in our filter leads by keywords. So this would be either the titles that you're going after, like CEO, founder, etc., or it can be a keyword that's on their profile. And then we just select the amount of profiles that we want to upload that are new every workday. So keep that in mind because I've had a couple of these questions come through. This would actually find 100 new profiles out of that post, new comments, and import it every day. So if there's 4,500, it'll start going through the first 100 and then now the second 100 until it finds 100 profiles that match our keyword. And then the next day, it's going to go and pass those first ones, and then it'll continue down that list until it eventually runs out. Once it runs out, you'll see it's not going to be able to import any new leads, and you'll have a log. And then from there, you can just put in a new post to grab in some more leads. So generally, a good rule of thumb, if you're importing anywhere between 50 and 100 profiles per day, in one pipeline should be enough. So I like 50. And then we would select the pipeline we want it in. So we would select our X and Twitter pipeline. And then from there, we would go in and select qualified prospects. And that's it. Once we have that ready, we hit save schedule. And then we have our lead miner set up. So Monday through Friday at 6:10 a.m. my time, I'm going to have 50 new leads from this exact post that are CEOs and founders coming into my X pipeline in FlowChat.
So importing the leads is the easy part. What most people screw up is what happens next. And when those leads hit your system, they need to land somewhere specific. That's your pipeline. Think of your pipeline like an assembly line. Each prospect enters at the same entry point, and the pipeline is what moves them through the process automatically. In FlowChat, when I import those leads from a competitor's viral tweet or any post that's out there, they all get dropped into a dedicated pipeline I've set up specifically for this type of outreach. It's not mixed with my warm leads or my current clients, it's its own thing. And that pipeline has stages that start with getting engagement, transitioning from, hey, how's it going, to a business conversation, eventually into inviting them to have a conversation with me, and of course, close deals. Whatever actually makes sense for that process. In fact, let me show you how this exact one works. So here I am in what we call the pipeline view. As you can see, each one of these cards represents a potential new client that came from that certain post on X that I did. Here's the post, and I collected the people who have commented. From what Jacob just shared with you, you go over to the queue over here. So now in the automation queue, what you do is you scroll down to where it says X down here. There we go. And we're looking for the automated import section. You can see Chris Doe pinned post. So all I did to set this up, add automated import post, I chose comments here. And then I grabbed the post link as I mentioned here. So right click, copy, back to here. And then I went paste. And I named it with Chris Doe's post. And then once that's all set, all I have to do is wait until the next period of time when this will run. And or if I want to run it manually now, I can actually hit run now. Watch what happens. The window opens and the automations actually start. The nice thing about this is all of the automations will be stored in the background on a separate tab, so you'll never see them. So there, you found the actual post itself. Now it's going in and it's collecting all of those particular commenters. Look at that. 5 commenters have been imported. You click here, there they all are. Bang, close window, and now I can just go back. I'm going to terminate this because it's finished. And there's going to be 58 people sitting now in my pipeline. Value of 67,000, that's awesome. And these guys are now ready to go. You can remember the green ones were the ones I had before. These are the new 5 just right here. So, and then all we need to do from here is start sending messages. So this is initial message sent. So how do we send a message? Well, we can click run now. If we click run now, let's start. And what it's going to do is, if they've already responded to us, it's just going to move the card. This one here, it's going to like one of their profile posts and it's going to follow them. And then guess what? We've got first message with AI. So our AI is intelligent enough where it's going to actually cruise down. It's going to write a very good first prompt here and then test first message. Here's what it looks like. And it says, love how you're using UX design expertise to make a real difference in people's lives and worthy and true. Again, it's pulling their actual company name. Your work speaks volume about your direction. What's been their most rewarding project? I like that as a first message. I think that's great. So if that's the type of first message it's going to create, that's awesome. And then I would just hit run. And as soon as I do that, it's going to go and fire those first messages right at this person. And then it's going to move the card along to the next step. You just learned how to turn someone else's audience into your pipeline without being a creep about it. You're not chasing leads anymore. You're intercepting them where they've already been raising their hand. So if this was meaningful to you and you're ready to get started right now, click the link below, head over to the page with all the details, and let's get you started. We have a very special offer because you're watching this video, so let's go. And lastly, drop a comment and tell me whose viral tweet you're mining from first.